ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 3, chapter 12, creation of the Kumaras and others, and text number 5. Kindly repeat after me. तन्भभासे स्वभूह पुत्रान् प्रजासृजक पुत्रकाः तन्नैच्छन्मोक्षधर्माणो वासुदेव परायणाः। तन्भभासे स्वभूह पुत्रान् प्रजासृजत पुत्रकाः तन्नैच्छन्मोक्षधर्माणो वासुदेव परायणाः। तान् भभाषे स्वभूह पुत्रान् प्रजासृजत पुत्रकाः तन्नैच्छन्मोक्षधर्माणो वासुदेव परायणाः। तान् unto the Kumaras, as above mentioned. Babashe, addressed. Swabhuyaha, Swabhuhu, it should be like that. Brahma. Putran, unto the sons. Prajaha, generations. Srajata, to create. Putrakaha, O my sons. Tat, that. Na, not. Aichan, desired. Moksha dharmanaha, pledged to the principles of liberation. Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. Parayanaha, who are so devoted. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Brahma spoke to his sons after generating them. My dear sons, he said, now generate progeny. But due to their being attached to Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, they aimed at liberation, and therefore they expressed their unwillingness. The four sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, declined to become family men, even on the request of their great father Brahma. Those who are serious about gaining release from material bondage should not be entangled in false relationship of family bondage. People may ask how the Kumaras could refuse the orders of Brahma, who was their father and above all the creator of the universe. The reply is that one who is Vasudeva Parayana or seriously engaged in devotional service of the personality of God and Vasudeva need not care for any other obligation. It is enjoined in the Bhagavatam 11.5.41. Devarshi bhutatmanram pitrinam nakinkaro nayam nuranicha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya kartam. Anyone who has completely given up all worldly relationship and has taken absolute shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, who gives us salvation and who alone is fit to be taken shelter of, is no longer a debtor or a servant of anyone, including the demigods. Therefore, demigods, forefathers, sages, other living entities, relatives, and members of human society. Thus, there was nothing wrong in the acts of the Kumaras when they refused their great father's request that they become family men. Hare Krishna. So tan bhavashe swabuhu putran praja srajata putrakaha tain naichan moksha dharmano vasudeva parayana. So swabuhu means Brahma here. Swabhuhu means who is self-born. So Brahma, he spoke in a very assertive way, in a very firm way, without any doubt. Prajas srajatah putrakaha. What he spoke? He ordered actually, in a commanding way. Prajas srajata putrakaha, he said. In a same affirmative way, in a assertive way, his sons rejected his proposal. Of course, it is not mentioned here that in an assertive way they rejected it, but we can conjecture like that. Praja sajata putrakaha tannaichan moksha dharmano. So why moksha dharmano? They wanted to become free from bondage, material bondage. So Prabhupada here he says that those who are serious about gaining release from material bondage should not entangle in false relationship of family bondage. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says entanglement in family life is ignorance. So ignorance causes bondage and knowledge brings liberation. So one of the items of knowledge is that one should be free from entanglement of family life. So you are all knowledgeable persons. You are avoiding family life. So anabhisvanga putradara grahadishu, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter when he described the process of knowledge. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham, like that it goes on. So it comes to anabhisvanga putradara grahadishu. One should not be entangled in family life basically. So in one sense family life is symbol of ignorance. Because it is born of desire for sense gratification. Sense gratification is also avidya or ignorance. Is ignorance of true knowledge of true self. Who are we? We are not these bodies. We are not meant to satisfy the senses. So we are spirit soul. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are meant to satisfy the senses of Krishna. So that is knowledge, sambandha jnana. So when we are in ignorance, the goal of life is what? We want to satisfy our senses. So then traditionally they would enter into family life, grahastha ashrama it used to be called as. But now they do it in an animal way, like animals. No need of liberal society, liberalism. So they consider that as the progress of life. And everyone talks about rights. I have my right to enjoy. I have my right to use my body the way I want. So like that, right. So people think like that. I can just remove all the clothes and stand naked. So I have my right on my body. I can do that. So this they consider as progress. But this is all The result of feminism is that women are removing their clothes and standing shamelessly. That is the result of because they think that I have my right on my body. So Vedas and they speak about dharma. So traditionally people for satisfaction of the senses they would enter into family life. So it is somewhat, like I said, family life is a symbol of ignorance. So relatively it is better. And in many ways it helped also. Even for cultivating knowledge and liberation also it helped in many ways. Instead of becoming debauchee, you become a regulated grahastha. So in this way, here we see in the previous verse also, that word comes, Nishkriyan Urdhva Retashaha, Munin Nishkriyan Urdhva. So these 4 Kumaras were Munis, they were great sages. So Munis means Sthitadir Muni Ruchyate, Krishna speaks about Munis. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthan manogatan atmaneva tasya prajna pratishthitaha dukeshu anudignamana shukeshu vigataspraha vitaraga vayakrodha sthitadir munirachat. So all these munis means they are not elated in happiness and distress, they are not disturbed in distress, and they are free from vitaraga vaya krodha. So free from, they are Sthitadir Munis, they are little more advanced Munis. But these are also Sthitadir Munis, Kumaras. So Nishkriyan means, so Nishkriyan is translated free from fruity action. Basically they were not engaged in their prescribed duties. In the sense that they were above prescribed duties. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Atmaneva chatantu santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. How it starts? 3.17. Yasyatmaratireva syad atmatraptascha manava atmaneva sya eva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. Atmaratireva syad. They were just taking pleasure in Atma. Atma Rama. Atmaratireva syad atmaneva cha santushtas. So for them there is no prescribed. So they were Nishkriyan. And so these words are also Nishkriya, Naishkarmya, and all these words have come in Bhagavad Gita. So Urdhva Retashaha. So they were great brahmacharis. Their semen was flowing upwards. Now Brahma is telling them to flow it downwards. Actually it is not true. Brahma told them to generate from the mind actually. They had power to generate progeny from mind. So these were also Manasaputras. 4 Kumaras were also. So they were born of Brahma's mind. So Urdhva Retasaha they were. And here also moksha dharmano. So they were fixed in the path of liberation, in Nivritti Marga. Nivritti Marga. Or liberation itself was their dharma. That means they are already liberated like that. So anyway, but still Brahma, he ordered them that you prajasrashtan prajasrajata putrakaha, like that. So you generate progeny like that. O sons, he said. So in an assertive way. So here people may ask Kumaras, how could refuse the orders of Brahma, who was their father and above all creator of the universe? How they could refuse Brahma? Generally in Vedic culture, it is, so one cannot refuse the order of father. It is also one element of or a component of dharma actually. So there is lot about this, especially in Ramayana. I wanted to quote from Ramayana, but some we can discuss. So this is from Ramayana. Lord Rama was supposed to be coronated, and but in the meantime, what happens? Kaikeyi proposes, makes proposal to Dasharatha that, or in fact, she demands that Rama should go to forest and Bharat should be coronated. Then Dasharatha becomes unhappy, and in the meantime, Vasishtha was making all the arrangements for coronation. Then he sent Sumanta to call Dasharatha Maharaj. Then when Sumanta came, Dasharatha did not speak anything to him, but Kaikeyi told him to send Rama. Then Sumanta goes and he sends Rama. Rama comes there. Then he sees that his father is unhappy. So Rama is asking what is the cause of his unhappiness. So he is speaking to Kaikeyi. So he says, what happened? Whether he is unhappy with me or he is unhappy with any one of us, whether Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, or you said something to him. He is asking Kaikeyi also. So then he says, Atoshan Maharajam Akurvan va pitur vachaha muhurtam api necheyam jivitum kupiten rape. So he says, I do not want to live even for a moment by dissatisfying the great king or by disobeying my father's words. So Atoshan Maharaja, Atoshan, by dissatisfying him, Maharaja means great king. Akurvan va pitur vachaha, by disobeying my father. So muhurtam api necheyam jivitam kupiten rape. So I do not want to be alive even for a muhurta by making him angry. So like that he says. Then yato moolam nara pashet pradurbhavam ihatmanaha katam tasmin na varteta pratyakshe sati daivate. He says, Yato moolam nara pashed pradurbhavam ihatmanaha. Why should a man not obey his father, who is a direct representative of God, because of whom one can experience the birth of his body in this world? So yato moolam nara pashed pradurbhavam ihatmanaha katam tasmin na varteta pratyakshe sati daivate. So pratyakshe sati daivate, father is a representative of God, and because of father only one gets birth of his body. Sometime Prabhupada would say, actually son belongs to father, not to mother, like that. That is little difficult to understand in different way, from Vedic context only, if you see. But anyway, so we are born in this world because of father. This body is because of father. So one should, so in a rhetorical way, how can one not follow a father, order of the father? So like that he says. Then afterwards, so Kaikeyi says that, okay, I will tell you. He wants to convey you something, but he will not be able to do it. But I can say that. But you should promise. You should not feel bad, and you should promise to fulfill his desires. So like that they say. She says. Then on that, means it is little. I am making it short. So on that, Lord Rama, he says that. So he was taken back. Actually, he was surprised. Like just like in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was surprised. Kutastva kashmalamidam. How can Arjuna so bring such such contaminations in his heart? So he says, Aho din nar hase devi vaktum ma midrasham vachaha aham hi vachanad radnyah pateyam api pavake baksheyam visham thikshnam majjeyam api charnave. Oh alas, oh queen, you should not speak such words to me. On the order of the king, I can even enter fire, consume deadly poison, and drown in the ocean. Like that it says. So this is one side order of the king, and also it is order of father. Next line it will become more clear. So we can take like this, that on the order of my father, I can enter into fire, consume deadly poison, and drown in the ocean. So in the next verse, so niyukto guruna pitra nrapena cha hitena cha. So he says, ordered my guru, father, king, and well-wishing authority, I will certainly do, as he says. So niyukto guruna pitra nrapena cha hitena cha. So here guruna, one should be ready to, one should not disobey the order of spiritual master. One should not disobey the order of father. One should not disobey the order of king. Cha hitena cha. So well-wisher. So, or in other words, here what he meant by Rama, what he says, that on the order of guru, father, king, and well-wisher, I am ready to enter into fire, consume deadly poison, or even drown in the ocean. Will they tell you to do like that? Sometimes such cases may come actually. Like Shiva had to drink poison. Lord Shiva had to drink poison. And Arjuna had to kill his relatives on the order of Krishna. And Parashurama also had to kill his mother, no, on the order of Jamadagni Rishi. So Jamadagni Rishi was his father actually. He told Parashurama to kill his own wife, or mother of Parashurama. So, and these are not just words, empty words. So they keep. When they speak like this, they are ready to do that. So they are ready to keep their words. So niyukto guruna pitra nrapena cha hitena cha. So now the commentators here, they so one footnote is there here. Mostly it is from our translator and commentator. Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu, he says, of course those instructions should be within the ambit of Vedic Dharma. Obviously Guru means Guru, real Fita, real King, and well-wisher means they should be in Dharma, within Dharma, right? Otherwise they are not qualified to be Guru, Pitra, and King and well-wisher. So, but the commentators, they give some examples here. Because Hitena indicates, so Hitena word can be applied to, so all this, Guru should be well-wisher, Pitra should be well-wisher. No, you have to be very strict with them actually. Pitra Nrupena Hitena cha, well-wisher. Okay, so they should be well-wishers. Hitena cha. Now Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad disobeyed Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu told, don't do devotion to, you can send everyone better, right? So Hiranyakashipu, he doesn't come within Dharma, he is not a well-wisher. So Prahlad, he told him why you are worshipping Vishnu or why you are doing devotional service to Vishnu. So he disobeyed him. Guruna, there are many examples, like Bali Maharaj disobeyed him. His Guru, Shukracharya. So then Rapena, king, disobeying the king. So here commentators, they give different examples. Ugrasena, they give example. Kamsa did not obey Ugrasena. In fact, he imprisoned him. And also, so for Dhritarashtra, he was a king. He was supposed to be disobeyed. But like we see in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is description about gambling and all. It was not required for Yudhishthira Maharaj to obey the instructions of, like, why it is said, actually it's a rule for Kshatriya that one should when he is invited or challenged for gambling, he should accept that challenge. But again, there is another dharmic rule that if the result is not going to be good, one can avoid that. But in this case, Yudhishthira, another order was the king who had called him actually. Dhritarashtra had personally called him. So in that way, he could not avoid Dhritarashtra. So, but he should have avoided it, because like Hiranyakashipu or Shukracharya, I gave that example. So similarly, Dhritarashtra is fit to be disregarded because he himself is not dharmic. So Dhritarashtra himself was a blind. Prabhupada writes, he was blind, physically blind also, and he was blind to religious principles also. So either way he was blind. So then he says, Tad bruhi vachanam devi rajno yad abhikankshitam karishye pratigye cha ramo dvir na bibhashate. So, tad bruhi vachanam devi rajno yad abhikankshitam. What is actually the desire of the king? O Devi, you tell me. Karishye pratigya cha. I will promise that I will follow that. And Ramo dvir nabi bhashate. There is no second word. How you put it? So Rama does not assert twice. Basically, he doesn't mince. Rama does not mince his words. So once it is said means it will be done. So in this way, like this, there is a lot of discussion in Ramayana about this, following the orders of father. So it is one element and component in dharma. One cannot disobey one's father, but there is room to disobey the father in circumstances, like we gave example of Hiranyakashipu, like that. So guru like Shukracharya and king like Dhritarashtra, they could be disobeyed. And here, in the case of Kumaras, there is another reason to be disobeyed actually. They were devotees of Vasudeva Parayana. They were attached to Vasudeva. Anyway, I'll come back to this point. There are another instance also, it comes in Mahabharata as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam, very briefly, in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. When Yayati became old, means he was cursed to become old. Then he requested, so the arrangement was that if somebody promises to take his old age, he would regain his youth. So Yayati asked everyone, none of his citizens, Praja, they took his old age. And he asked everyone, his sons also. So his sons also, but they also did not take, except Pururava took later. So one of the sons of Yayati was Yadu actually. Yadu, who was ancestor of Krishna, appeared in his dynasty, Yadu dynasty. But the reason given by Yadu is a higher reason. He says, I want to practice renunciation. For that I need my means a robust body. Means for practicing austerities also we need good physical strength and mental determination. So therefore it was not sense gratification. Therefore it was understood. And also in the future he should continue his progeny and his dynasty, because Lord Krishna is supposed to appear in future. That is something esoteric reason why Yadu did not accept, which is not actually pronounced there, but that Acharyas they explain that. So he disobeyed his father, Yadu also, and others also, except Pururava he took it. But that is also meant for material cause. It's a cause for sense gratification. But then also within dharma, one has to obey one's father. So anyway, here, so they not only in Vedic culture, not only there is obligation to follow the orders of father, but there are other obligations also. Obligations to the demigods, devas, because we take facilities from them. So heat, cold, water, rain, wind, light. So like sunlight every day, moonlight is there. Moonlight is required for growing vegetables and herbs. So like that, grains, vegetables, herbs, etc., flowers. So in this way we take, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna later condemns demigod worship, but in the beginning, if you say, in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, those who do not fulfill the obligations towards demigods, they are called as thieves, he says. Stena evacha, like that. So they are called as thieves, and Prabhupada mentions that such thieves cannot be happy in the human society. Devas, then there are rishis, great rishis, we take knowledge from them. Different rishis have done so much in the field of knowledge. So Kapila's yoga, Patanjali's, Kapila's Sankhya, Patanjali's yoga, like that. There are so many rishis. Of course, these are Shad Darshan, propounders of Shad Darshan, but there are other Veda Vyasa, etc. So who give knowledge, so we have obligations to them. Then Bhuta, there are living entities. So living entities, one good example is cows. So we take milk from the cows, which is very essential for human body. It is essential for brain. It is essential for performing sacrifices, religious duties. Without cow dung, cow urine, cow milk and milk product, cow ghee, we cannot perform sacrifices. You cannot perform sacrifices with Nandini ghee. So we have obligations towards Bhuta. Then we have obligations towards relatives. Then Nrana means human society. And we have obligations towards Pitras, forefathers. We inherit their wealth, property, and also their heritage, etc. Like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Kula Dharma, Param, Kula Dharma, Sanatanaha. That there is continuity of eternal religious principles within the family tradition. So parents, they bring that too. So that is what Arjuna's argument it was, that if these people Kula, so Kula Kshaye, Pranashanti Kula Dharma Sanatana. So eternal principles will be destroyed, he says. Then there will be hell in the end, like that. So all these things, there are obligations. So these things we don't understand in this whole modern demonic society, actually. Very exploitative society, and all these Abrahamic religions that everything, animals are meant for gobbling. We need to dominate animals, kill them, slaughter them and eat. So these are all subtle phenomena. There is like in Bhagavad Gita also, and we see in the Vedic literature, Bhagavatam also it comes, and in the Vedic literature. So there is cycle of sacrifices. There is a cycle, invisible cycle within the creation. So how each living entity is dependent on each other, actually. Or everyone has obligations to fulfill to one another. So these things are not understood in this so-called religions or in modern demonic exploitative society, where I is the center, my sense gratification is the center. So anyway, so basically here, so these obligations are there. So that is the point which Prabhupada is bringing. How could these Kumaras not fulfill such obligation? So Brahma generated them, and then he gave orders to them that you create more progeny inverse like that. So, but because they are Vasudeva Parayana, then they didn't want to indulge into it. If you see from this context, there is Rupa Goswami is that Niyamagraha. So Niyamagraha, he gives two meanings to that. Niyamagraha, Niyamagraha. Disobeying the rules and or following them for just for the namesake, not so just superficially following them, mechanically following them. Niyamagraha. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explained that. Now here what they are doing, our Kumaras, they are disobeying, they are not following the orders. So that is one kind of Niyamagraha. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explained that from the conditioned stage up to the stage of Krishna Prema, there are many levels are there, and each level has its own set of rules and regulations. Now in conditioned stage, the Varnashram Dharma is the rule actually, that everyone should follow Varnashram Dharma. So then as we go on progressing, then there will be different set of rules and regulations. So following those set of rules and regulations is called as, not following those rules, set of rules and regulations is Niyamagraha. That means according to your position. That verse is there, no? Sve karman. In Bhagavad Gita also, and in Bhagavatam also it comes that one's own prescribed duties in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in Bhagavatam also 11th canto it comes. So that one should follow one's own set, prescribed duties. So it comes in many places in Bhagavad Gita also, that following one's own dharma is better. What is that verse? Very famous verse. 3rd chapter, 35th verse, I am forgetting that. Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharma Bhayavaha Swadharme Niguna. How it is? Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna. Anyway, you all understood point what I wanted to convey. So that one should follow one's set of rules and regulations. So if you follow even whether you are following the higher, rules and regulations above your level and rules and regulations below your level, it will become Niyamagraha again. So like that. Now here we see that these people are Vasudeva Parayana, and if you push them, okay, you become Grahastha and beget children, then it will be chaos in their in their life. If one is a sannyas candidate, if he is pushed into Grahastha ashram, then he will be miserable actually. And if one is not a sannyas or a brahmachari candidate, but if he tries to be a brahmachari sannyasi candidate, then he will also be miserable. So either way. So these people were Vasudeva Parayana. Sarvatma ya Sharanam Sharanyam. This verse also is quoted here. Devarshi Bhutatmanam Pitrinam Na Kinkaro Nayam Ranicha Rajan Sarvatmana ya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. That so Devarshi Bhutatam Ranam Pitrinam Na Kinkaro Nayam Ranicha Rajan. Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam. Mukunda, who is Sharanya, who is the shelter of everyone, or who can give shelter to everyone. So those who have Parihritya Kartam, here you see here, they have one who gives up his prescribed duties. Basically this indicates to Varnashrama actually. So prescribed duties were within Varnashrama, and completely has taken shelter of Mukunda. So Parihratya Kartam and previous verse, the previous verse Nishkriyan. So both are same. Of course, in this verse also it says Moksha Dharma. So, but more relevant is the previous verse. Parihartya Kartum and Nishkriyan. In the previous verse, they are both are equivalent. So those who give up prescribed duties of Varnashrama and fully take shelter of Lord Mukunda, for them there are no obligations. Devarshi Bhutat Nundanam Pitrinam Na Kinkaronayam Ranicha Rajan. Now the question is, implicit in this verse is that why he doesn't have obligations to all these people? Because all these people are part and parcels. Devas, Rishis, Bhuta, Atma, they are all part and parcels of Mukunda actually. So therefore, when you are serving Mukunda, you don't need to serve parts. So I think now you are able to connect this to another verse from Bhagavatam. What it says? That verse. Yatha tharor mula nishechanina trapyanti yaskanda bhujopashaka pranopaharasya yatendriyana sarvaranam. What is that? How it ends? Anyway. So one doesn't need to separately Hare Krishna. One doesn't need to separately water, leaves, flowers, twigs, etc. Or one doesn't have to supply food to senses separately. So if you pour water to the roots, or if you supply food to stomach, that is taken care. So like that, if you serve Vasudeva Parayana, obligations. Sometime in ISKCON, young boys, when they want to join, parents, they come and complain, Swamiji, how can he disobey my order like that? Parents. One time one boy who joined, and one parent came, father came and spoke to me, and he said, Swamiji, how can this boy disobey? Then I said, politely I said to him, there can be possibilities. And gave him example of Hiranyakashipu. You are not like that. Your case is not like that. If you say directly to them. But he turned out to be like Hiranyakashipu only actually. That father, he took the boy, kidnapped the boy, and gave him shock treatment, made him to, in the hospital, it's okay. So made him to put him in the hospital, mental hospital, gave him so many shock treatment, medicines, so that he forgot. That boy would have become mad actually. Somehow by Krishna's mercy he was protected actually. Because of his Krishna consciousness, he surrendered to Krishna, he was protected. So these people may not be like big, there's somewhat Hiranyakashipu mentality would be there in the parents. So like that, there are rooms for disobeying there are many, there is room to disobey the parent, father, and there can be many reasons for that. So like here also, so these people, they wanted to now if you see the broader picture here, Brahma, he is also carrying, now the question is that because they were Vasudeva Parayana, therefore they did not follow order of Brahma. But Brahma is also carrying out even the Lord's order only, right? It was his duty. It was his service for the Lord to, increase the progeny because the purpose of creation is to help living entities to go back home, back to Godhead. So if he doesn't create, if he doesn't give that opportunity to living entities, that is also disservice. But this we have to understand from the point that after that is one level of service, that okay, you give bodies, physical forms to all these conditioned souls who are either in the body of Mahavishnu or whatever, or in Pralaya Jala. That is one service. After they get physical form, somebody has to teach them about Moksha Dharma and Sanatana Dharma, right? Otherwise, just giving body, does it help actually? So in that way they were doing service. In one sense, they were not actually, apparently they were disobeying their father, but they were still serving Lord. So from the point of view of service to Krishna, so basically there can be transgression of some lower principles. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I think Lord doesn't want me to speak, so.
That is struggling, I think its body is not under its control.
Any questions, comments?
When Krishna tells Bhagavad Gita that both Kumaras are born out of my mind like that.
How to understand? He was speaking in the mode of Brahma. I was surprised that no one quoted that verse all these days actually. Generally on the first day we should quote because the chapter title is for Kumaras. I was expecting that you will quote that verse actually. I thought on that. So first 25 people were created by me, he says. So just like he is speaking in the mode of Brahma, I am Brahma and I created them. Just like later in the 14th chapter he says, I am Shiva. He doesn't mention that there, but implicit in that is, I am Shiva and I am father of all the living entities, because he says, Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. So, Brahma Mahad, Mahat Tattva or Prakriti or material nature or Durga is the mother and I am the seed giving father. Who is the husband of Durga? It is Shiva. So Krishna is speaking in the mode of Shiva there. I am Shiva and I am the father of all the living entities within the material world. So like that. Similarly, in the 10th chapter, that is 14th chapter, and in the 10th chapter he says, I am Brahma, so I am all these four Kumaras, everyone is born of my mind. So sometime he assumes sometime if there is no competent Jiva to take the position of Brahma, he himself appears as Brahma. And also they are all his guna avatars. Brahma is guna avatar, Shiva is guna avatar. So he can say, I am Shiva, I am Brahma. Like that.
Another question was that if they had not to beget children by engaging sex, through their mind only they have to beget children, then that won't be bonding them, that won't bind them, nonsense.
Why do you think that only when you produce through semen you will be bound? Whether they are born of mind or semen, they will trouble you only, children.
They can just give birth and go forward. From the mind, okay, from the mind, you take any pleasure to beget your own.
but that is another transgression of. You can't be irresponsible in Vedic culture actually. That is not acceptable. In fact, even when one takes sannyas, actually he should settle his wife actually properly. She should be under grown-up son's care or something. Of course, there are examples. For a higher principle, one may leave. Like in second chapter, Prabhupada says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, but he was steady in his ashram. So if someone is going to be steady, that is acceptable, because that is higher principle. Instead of delivering one, means protecting one living entity, wife, so he is going to protect so many other living entities from material bondage. So that verse is there, no? Chanakya or somebody said that if for the sake of village one should sacrifice one person, like that he goes on saying. Then what else? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.